How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Flesh and Blood Nationals here in Orlando. That was an incredibly close and spicy game that we just watched. We are actually going to jump right into the calling bracket because the calling is actually going on this weekend as well, in addition
Yes.
to the Nationals. And the calling was a little bit more diverse than the Nationals, I would say.
Yeah, look at how colorful it is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
got
so
a
we've
nice
got,
spectrum.
yep, so Briar still made their way into the finals. Took down Viserai, took down another Briar deck as well, but now can they take down Oldhim? That's the thing. And yeah, we've seen some Chane battling out against Oldhim. We got Oldhim versus Bravo. Oldhim was victorious here. Yeah, can Michael Hamilton finish it out, or is Joel going to get there for Canada?
I can imagine that match is going to be very, very long and grindy if I had to
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think Oldham is really on the plan to fatigue out Briar and basically say, well, in order for you to do your big turns, you have to play all of these cards. You know, you're not pitching for stuff. You're not really attacking me with the weapon that much. You're using cards, and they're going to the graveyard. So if I could just keep blocking those cards and trade and manage my life total enough, then you're not going to be able to finish me.
Yeah. Grandfather Winter is basically a giant brick wall.
Yep,
Giant brick
absolutely.
wall. He looks like one, and he is one too.
And so Briar's just like firing lightning bolts at a brick
Yeah,
wall. Like,
exactly. Sometimes it'll get through, but most of the time it's not going to do a whole lot.
yeah, I think so. Well, it'll be really, really interesting to see. So,
I agree. I actually agree. I think it will be a very, very interesting. And
oh,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you know what else is going to be really interesting to see is the finals. Is Chane taking on Briar, and it has its own brick wall and husk
Oh yeah.
as well.
Oh
So
yeah, that's true.
it's yeah, I think brackets coming up here. So we got Michael Feng, the calling champion from Cincinnati. This man has been on a run. You know, Cincinnati was our last big event, so he's literally just been winning and winning and
Oh
winning.
yeah.
So and he's taken down. You know, he has taken down Briars to get here. Plenty of them throughout the Swiss and even in the top 8 here. So you know, he's a man that really understands his deck. He understands the matchup, but the opponent, again, no fish. This is Tariq Patel. You know, an incredible player that has been on a run for pretty much the 2 months that he's been playing for. And I think, you know, he's going to come in really prepared for this.
100%. I think it's safe to say that these are two of the absolute best players in the United States.
Yeah,
Like hands
absolutely.
down.
Absolutely,
I don't think
hands
there's
down.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's an argument for that. They're just two of the best players
Yep.
in the US, and I think it's going to be a very exciting match to watch, and I think it's going to be a very interesting match to watch.
Yeah. No, if you asked me to name, like, in my opinion, the top 3 players at the start of this weekend before any of these games had happened, these 2 names would have come up in that top 3. So, you know, absolutely whoever wins here deserves to be the national champion.
I agree. I agree. I agree 100%. And I'm very looking forward to seeing how this is. Would you have guessed going into this weekend that we would see Chane in the finals?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have, to be honest. Like, I understood that Chane was still a very good deck, and it was probably reasonably good against Briar. Yeah, it had a lot of work. Like, losing seeds really hurt that deck. It had a lot of work to do. You know, to be able to get through the Bravo decks and the Dash decks, I think are reasonably hard for it. I think Michael's had a plan and he's figured out some stuff that a lot of other people haven't. So I think, yeah, like he's come in and he's gotten over those hurdles, and that's why he's in the finals. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. And speaking of the finals, I think we are ready to battle. We have Michael Feng versus Tariq Patel. Battle of the Rune Blades, Battle of the Titans. This is going to be a very, very exciting match.
yeah, here we go. So we got Michael Feng is on first seed. He's top of the Swiss. He's been dominating all weekend. So it'll be interesting to see if he prefers to go first and you know, get that shackle going early and set up an arsenal and put some pressure on, or whether he prefers to go second and just block up a little bit more.
If it was you, what would you choose? Would you choose to go first and be the aggressor, or would you choose to go second and?
I think first is better. I think Chane really does want to set up the shackle, but I'm not 100% sure. As I say, like Michael's definitely figured out a lot about this deck, so I wouldn't be surprised. If he chooses second, that's probably right. It does look like he's chosen first, though, as he's sort of thinking on some pitch
Yeah,
here.
looks
So
looks like it. Looks like it.
so he's not going to make me look silly, thankfully.
We have a double pitch and a Grasp with the Arcanite activation just to make a Rune Chant. He's going to use Chane's hero ability to make a Soul Shackle token. He's just going to pass on the turn.
Yes.
No need to give his opponent a mulligan here.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we often see from Chane. Soul Shackle token, make a Rune Blade, and we're set up ready to go to the races from next turn. So
we have a Ravenous Rabble revealing a red Lightning Surge. So this is a yellow Ravenous Rabble, so it's just going to be coming in for 2 damage or 3 damage.
Yep. Yeah, so revealing a red, coming in for 3. Chane says, "Yep, sure, don't care, take it." That's a small attack. that doesn't draw a card on hit. That doesn't do sort of extra damage or anything like that. Yep, I'll happily go to 37 and turn on my Skull Cap.
And let's see how Tariq follows this up. Obviously gets that embodiment of Earth token. Oh. Well. Second verse, same as the first. We got another Ravenous Rebel. This one coming in for 4 instead of 3. Still, a good start to a first turn, I would say.
So the sequencing here is actually really interesting. So going the yellow Rabble first, I think your opponent's much more likely to take that because it turns on their Skull Cap, and then the second Rabble is 4 points, which is an awkward number to block. So Tariq's setting himself up to get 2 embodiment tokens here.
Very good point to make there. And we have a follow-up with a Arcanic Shockwave. Was this one fused from hand?
Don't believe it was. So his opponent's on 33, and they've taken 7 from the Rabble. So I don't think this one was fused. It was just an attack for 4.
Coming in for 4.
So that most likely, from Michael's point, once you've already taken the 2, you might as well take this and do a full 5 card hand to come back with to try to keep a little bit of momentum for the game.
Yeah, try to get a little bit of that tempo back.
Yeah, well, the thing is, every card that Tariq is blocking with, every non-attack action, anything like that, means less pressure is coming back at you.
And I think you mentioned this before, that 3 embodiment of Earth is a pretty good number to be at there.
Yeah, I think 3 is really what you're aiming to get to most turns. 3 means that a block 2 is stopping, a 5 attack.
Yeah.
And on the Art of War turns, the big turns from Michael, most of the attacks are around 5.
So here we have a Chane activation, so the next attack will have Go Again. Ooh, this is a nice one.
This is big. This is definitely how you want to be starting out a game. So yeah, going to get us a resource, banish a second card. This is going to be a huge turn.
Yeah, and the card he banished was a Bounding Demagon, so we're going to have to definitely pay attention to that card this turn. I have a feeling that's not the last we will see of it.
Yep, so Rune Chant hits. That hits us for 1, and then we're coming in for 6. So this is really going to put Tariq in a spot.
6, Go Again.
So Tariq has to juggle up a few things here. So he has to sort of juggle up trading damage, 5 damage with a card that might not deal 5 back, but he also has to consider that the longer the game goes, the more advantage Michael's going to get from Soul Shackles, from banishing. So it's going to be an absolute juggle as to what he can spare.
We do have a block from hand, just a single block, and like Matt mentioned earlier, being able to block for 5 with just a single card is fantastic in a situation like this where, Michael's coming in for 6 here. So it's only going to leak a single point of damage through.
Yeah. So at this point, you think if you're going to be blocking with a non-attack, this is where you want to block with it, because it's very likely that Michael attacks for a bunch of 4s after this. And we don't want to be blocking 5 on 4 attacks.
Ooh, you have
lose some advantage. Ooh.
A nice little Spellbound Creepers activation here. I've been talking about this the whole weekend. I love this card. I think it's one of the most underrated equipment out there right now. Spellbound Creepers is such a sweet card. So we have an activation. He's able to play that card as an instant. He plays the Captain's Call, and Captain's Call has Go Again, so he'll get a action point back after playing it.
Yeah. So the Go Again on the Captain's Call, even though we still have an action point, because it's played as an instant, it gives us another one. So now Michael's at 2 action points. And what's cool is that the Spellbound Creepers, he's already dealt arcane damage from the Rune Chant that he set up on turn 1. So, he's already put himself in a spot where this Creepers is not going to die.
Some absolute great value out of the Spellbound Creepers.
The Captain's Call give Go Again?
So we had
Okay,
the
I think it did. I think the captain's
yeah.
call gave go again. We came in for 4 with the bounding, and then we still have 2 action points. We can come in with the thorn and still have an action point after that as well.
That's exactly what he's doing. Yep,
This
Thorn,
is
and
a
then following it up with an
huge
unhallowed
turn.
rites. That's just a casual turn too.
This is a 19 damage turn
Yeah,
too.
it is.
This is on turn 2. I'm gonna 19 you.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Definitely where he wants to be, I think.
It's
So,
almost half of your life. Not
yeah.
quite, not quite. So if you're Tariq here and you're just watching this turn, he's still got a decent grip of cards here. Do you think he's debating whether he wants to block or just eat it?
Yeah, I think. So the life totals are actually in a way that Skullcap's not live, which I think is hard. Tarek's really trying to decide how much damage he can push back with, because he has to try to be as aggressive as he can in the early game, so that Michael doesn't get a long game where he's going to get more advantage off his Soul Shackle tokens. So
Definitely don't want to see like five soul shackles or 6
yeah.
sitting against the Chane player.
Exactly. So generally in these spots, you'll just see Tariq take the damage. He's, blocked with 1 card to soak up 5 of it to give himself a bit more time, but the rest of the damage you probably just have to take, as he needs to keep the aggression going as high as possible.
Here we see just a nice little cleanup of the mass amount of cards on the board here. Take a good minute to clean it up. And here we have a ball lightning coming in from Tariq Patel. This is a red ball lightning coming in for 3, but threatening a little bit more damage from its own effect.
Yeah, so what we're also seeing from both players here is interesting life total management as well. So, Tarek's trying to pressure Michael when his skull cap's not turned on, and Michael's trying to pressure Tariq when his skull cap's not turned on, which we've seen from each turn so far. So, ball lightning, a lot of pressure. That's 4 damage if it hits.
Yeah, would it be safe to say that these skull caps are going to be a fairly integral part of this matchup here?
Yeah, I think
using
so.
the life and determining when you want to block with the skull caps and when you want to hold back.
Yeah, so the interesting thing here is that by taking 4 from the ball lightning, you turn on your skull cap, right? So
Yeah.
I think Michael's put himself in a spot to straight away turn on the skull cap, and if a snatch or something comes out, he's going to be able to go skull cap, grass, block, and stop it. So I think, yeah, it makes absolute sense.
And blocking those cards with like the really spicy on-hit effects that the draw effects.
Yeah.
That's really want to be, right? You want to save those cards for those kind of things.
100%. So looks like Tarek's got quite a lot of lightning cards, which all get a little bit of a buff up from ball lightning.
Oh, speaking of those equipment, we have a double block, following it up with a Ravenous Rabble, revealing a snatch from the top. So this is going to be coming in for 4 with go again. So just all day long, just attacking zero cost 3 attack, 0 cost 4 attack, 0 cost 4 attack.
That's what Briar does. It's, try to present 4-4-4-4 ideally.
Yeah.
16 damage turns. That's kind of what you're aiming for.
And since this is still all on the same combat chain, Michael cannot block with the 2 pieces of equipment that he already had used.
Yeah. And we got a lightning surge as well. So what's quite interesting here is we've attacked for 16. That ball lightning hit for 4. We've attacked for 16 after we blocked.
Yeah, exactly.
We blocked 5 attack from the last turn and then came back for 16. So this is exactly what you're hoping to happen, what you're playing for.
And I think that really shows like the true power of Briar here, able to block a bit out and then still come back with an absurd turn.
Yeah, well, Michael Feng's really got to be considering here his life total, because if he takes a little bit too much damage, then he's going to be forced into a spot to use his husk or to have to be in a bad spot playing around lightning press. So he really has to consider staying a little bit above so that in the spot next turn, he's not pressured to use that husk. That husk is the most integral card in this matchup.
Do you think he's basically waiting for like a very large attack to come through so he can husk it and get the most value out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. But also just husking to stop a crucial on-hit effect like Snatch that he's already seen on the top of the deck here. So he knows that a Snatch is coming next turn. So he really wants to put himself in a spot where he can block a Snatch. Now, interestingly, 6 block versus Snatch can be made quite awkward with Lightning Press as well, because 7 exactly gets over it, triggers the on-hit. So there is a lot to think about.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. And we haven't seen any, lightning presses at all come from Tariq. So if you're Michael, you got to be thinking, this is a definite possibility.
And all of these thoughts will be going through Michael's head 100%. This is the top level right here. These are the things that you have to consider. Yeah, as we can see, this is a very hard decision.
What do you think Michael is considering now? He's got 2 cards in hand still, 1 in arsenal. Do you think he's just gonna end up taking this, or is he like, okay, do I actually need to block it out?
Yeah, so I think Michael still has 4 cards in hand because he
Four
hasn't
cards.
blocked yet. It's really a toss. You're tossing up whether you want to be trying to draw out the game a little bit longer, but as you draw out the game, you're going to be bleeding more points of damage from the Briar deck, or whether you want to just keep all your cards and hit back as hard as you can because the Briar deck doesn't block well. So
Did see a double block from hand, blocking
yeah.
with 2 bounding demigons.
I think generally you are going to want to draw out the game more. Like if Michael can keep his carrion husk alive and use it to soak up either an on-hit effect or 6 damage, that is probably enough to get him into the driver's seat here. So, and the longer the game goes, the more soul shackles, the more card advantage he gets effectively.
Yep. And unfortunately for Michael on this turn, that's a big ol' whiff. Getting 2 cards off of those soul shackles that are just going to be banished forever.
Yeah, losing the Flock and the Plunder Run hurts there, but it's not as bad as losing an Art of War. So
That's true. That is true. I've been there a few times.
Oh yes, so have I.
So we have a Chane activation, creating another soul shackle. We have a pitch of a invert existence into a good old spicy command and conquer.
Okay, so this command does not get go again from Chane's ability. So this was most likely with 2 cards left to just tick up Soul Shackle because we want to banish more next turn, and then just pitch command and conquer.
And this command and conquer isn't a particularly threatening command and conquer because Tariq doesn't have arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have an arsenal. So I think what we're most likely to see here is Tariq to take it, and then oh, now that is spicy.
Yeah, I love that. I love that play.
So yeah, by using the Spellground Creepers at instant speed, after Tariq has declared no blocks, putting the Plunder Run in means that you're going to be able to draw a card straight away and keep going.
Yep, because that Plunder Run has Go Again on it, so he's going to get that action point.
Has Go Again on it twice from the Soul Shackle, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder how that works. I wonder if that gives you 2 action points. I actually don't know.
Either way, he's just going to follow it up with a Rosetta Thorn 2 and 2 because a non-attack had been played.
Yeah. So 2 and 2. And
that was a very spicy play.
I
very
much
like that one. So we have Michael.
Oh, actually, Plunder Runs are generic, so the Soul Shackle wouldn't have hit it anyway. So yeah.
Soul Shackle only affecting Rune Blade and Shadow cards.
Shadow cards, yeah. So yeah. So that gave the Rosetta Thorn Go Again, but we didn't have anything left after that. So
we have just kind of taking a look at the board state here. Each player has blocked with their Skull Cap once, so whoever has the lower life just straight up can't block with their Skull Cap at all at this point.
Whoever has the higher life, yeah.
Yeah.
So Michael's Skull Cap is not live currently, and we'll see if Tariq's is not live after this turn, given there's only 4 points in it. So.
Yeah. We do have a Plunder Run into a Nimblism, so that will create an embodiment of lightning, into a Snatch, which will have Go Again from that embodiment of lightning.
So this is huge. So we've got a Snatch going on here for 7 that if it hits draws 2 cards. That's exactly what Tariq wanted here. So 7 makes it a little bit awkward with the husk. It means that if you're blocking with the husk and the grass, a lightning press can absolutely blow you out of the game. So yeah, this is a hard spot.
This is a very huskable attack, I would say.
Yeah,
very huskable attack.
I think your husk isn't going to get better value. And the creepers are most likely dying next turn. We managed to ping them with a rune chant token first time, 2 from the Rosetta second time to keep it in play. But dealing 3 arcane is much harder for this deck. So it's the perfect spot to just cash those in and stop the snatch from hitting.
You got a lot of value out of those Spellbound Creepers too. Like an absolute ton of value.
Yeah.
Got a block with it, got some, activations. Absolutely fantastic.
That's a pretty powerful legendary, that one.
Yes, I would say that's true. Ooh, so here we have another split damage cards. This is it Arcanic Crackle?
Yes,
so
Arcanic Crackle.
So it's coming in for some arcane damage, and is this a red one, so it's going to be coming in for 3?
Yeah, so it's coming in for 3, but it's coming in for 3 and threatening to draw a card off the Plunder Run as well. So it depends, if you let it hit, then Tariq's going to get an arsenal, and it means next turn's going to be, big and ruthless as well.
Yeah,
so
big scary 5-card hand.
Exactly. So
and once again, if you're Michael here, you're very content of just kind of like blocking what you need to block, and not exactly playing for the long game, but playing for a longer game than Briar.
Yeah.
So let's see.
All right, so we got a judge call going on here. So Tariq's got some sort of question about the embodiment of lightning, the embodiment of earth. So we'll just let the players figure that out. But I think what's going on is Arcanic Crackle dealt 1 arcane damage, and maybe the embodiment of earth. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yep. There we go. So that's the embodiment from the arcane damage. The physical damage was blocked. So that's that turn.
Yep, so we'll end up with a single embodiment of Earth. Not the greatest, but it's not nothing. We have a whiff into...
Oh,
Oh,
there's an Art of War. That's
hate
you
to
never
see
want
it.
to see that.
Yeah, absolutely hate to see it. We got one hit with the unhollowed rights there.
Yeah, what a game we're getting though. 20-17. This is a very close kind of back and forward attack and block match. We're not just seeing one person steamroll the other or attacking all the time. We're seeing usually a block from both players each turn and a few attacks as well.
I think, yeah, this is... I don't want to say it's definitively some of the most blocking I've seen early game from Runeblades this tournament, but it really feels like it. Before I was seeing, like, the players are just haymakers left and right, just taking damage. But here there's a lot more tempered play, a lot more, blocks every now and then, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that Chane kind of creates that dynamic a little bit because Chane's a mid-range deck, right? So Chane's a deck that's getting advantage from its banishes each turn. It can do very, very aggressive things, but it's trying to play a mid-range game plan. So if Tariq just goes all in, guns to the wall, attack, 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 then he's not going to be able to keep up with the advantage that Husk and all of the blocks and the fact that Michael's still getting cards off his deck as well. So he really has to try to maneuver this and take as much advantage out of his embodiment of Earths as he can to sort of be, semi-Husks.
Speaking of which, it looks like he's going to be taking some advantage out of the embodiment of Earth. So he's going to full block this. So it's going to be 3 from the Plunder Run, 1 from the Arcanite Skullcap, and then Michael's going to follow that up with a good old Command and Conquer. Once again, not threatening an arsenal here, so it's just going to be casual 6. Just casual 6 damage.
Yeah, it is threatening to draw a card off Plunder Run though. So yeah, the first block, as we saw, utilizing that Skull Cap again to stop that Plunder Run. Now Tariq's got to decide whether he trades in his Tunic and Grasp and a card or 2 cards, or whether he just takes 6 damage and allows Michael to draw.
I imagine this is going to be a very, very tough decision for Tariq.
Yeah, it is. So Tariq's sitting on 3 cards, no arsenal, and
Tunic is sitting at a healthy 3 counters too, so throwing that away, you lose a little bit of advantage that you otherwise would have gotten through that Tunic, but it might be the right call here.
Yeah, I mean, potentially blocking 3 to just soak some damage might be all right too, as Tariq really needs to kind of set up a turn to kind of get back into the momentum seat of the game. So we're seeing block 6. Most likely, I think what we're going to see here is Tariq setting up an arsenal here and trying to have a 5-card hand next turn to move the game.
And
To pivot the momentum of the game,
Michael,
basically.
are you happy with that? Like, you're like, oh, I get an extra turn, I get another Soul Shackle, I get to kind of further my longer game if I keep applying this pressure and stripping cards out of Briar's hand.
Absolutely. I think this is what Michael wants. Michael wants the game to go long. He wants to be banishing a lot of cards and getting a lot of advantage out of that. So, and there's a Rift Bind.
Seeing some hits here.
2 Rift Binds.
So we have a yellow bounding and 2 Rift Binds. This is the start of a potential pretty big turn from Michael.
So I think Michael has either 4 cards, right? Because Tariq did nothing. Tariq set up for his next turn, so Michael's on a full-in 4-card hand this turn.
Yep.
With double Rift Bind. This could get scary.
This is looks like it might be quite spicy here.
Looks like it might be a very entertaining turn, I think. If Michael's got some pump spells, things like Nimbalism, some non-attack actions, he could go pretty crazy with these Rift Binds.
I guess it all depends on how many pump cards that Michael has in his hand and how many non-red cards he has, so he can maximize these Rift Binds from the Banish Zone.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I think the absolute optimal hand might be like 2 blues, something to give your one of your rift binds go again, as a soul shackle will give the other one, and then like a non-attack action, or you know, a non-attack action that gives go again, and then another non-attack action that pumps. That would be the ideal world. I don't think we have that though, by the
Yeah.
looks of this, as the rift bind's just coming in for three.
Just a 3 rift bind with go again from the soul shackle, or from rather the chain activation. We have a block 3 here from Tariq. Very curious to see how Michael follows this up. We still have a Bounding Demagon and another Rift Bind in the banish zone here. Tariq still has some you know, decent block on board. He still has a fresh Grasp of the Arknight.
Yep.
Has that tunic. Ooh, we have
Belittle.
Belittle
Now
here.
that's a spicy little card. So we have a Belittle searching up Minnowism to get.
Did we get a reveal on the Belittle?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we have anything in hand that reveals to it.
It looks like he has a, was it a Flock of the Featherwalkers in hand?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't have anything in hand that deals with it. If there was something in hand to reveal, I think we would have seen the Belittle go before the Riftbind, so that we could have Minnowism for the Riftbind second. So
Makes sense.
by playing it second, I think it means that, you know, we're just cashing him for 3 damage, go again.
It looks like he had a Flock and then this Command and Conquer here.
Yeah, so we're really pressuring Tariq's turn here. I mean, Tariq set that arsenal up to have a big turn, and Michael's saying, nope, no sir, not today.
Yep. We have a big block here from Tariq. We have Grasp and a double block from hand. So that will block a full 6.
Yeah, so it looks like Tariq had a bunch of attacks that don't have go again here. So he just, you know, had to block them out and set up for another day.
And Michael will end up taking some blood debt damage here at the end of his turn.
3, I think. Yeah, so we got Husk and 2 things.
So the card from Arsenal was a Plunder Run, which is a pretty good one to have from Arsenal, I would say.
I mean, you can't get much more threatening from a 2-card hand
Yeah.
as Red Plunder from Arsenal and Snatch. That's 7, draw 2 cards, and the Snapdragon Scalers are still up.
He's got that cheeky Snapdragon just sitting on the bottom there.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, Michael doesn't have a Husk anymore to kind of stop these big attacks. And if he lets this damage through, Tariq quite possibly is just going to have a huge turn again. And then he'll lose the momentum that he's got of the game right now. So, correctly identifies that really does need to block this for 7, and try to keep the momentum that he's attacking with at the moment.
Michael, of course, couldn't block with his Arcanite Skullcap because he is at a higher life total.
Yeah.
You definitely got to block that Snatch out.
Yeah, I mean, drawing 2 cards is exactly how Tariq can get back into this game, and then snowball from there. So by blocking it, you say there's no embodiment tokens. I'm going to be attacking you. I get to stay the aggressor in this exchange.
We have a good number of whiffs again here.
We did hit a go again attack though, which I think is pretty crucial because it's going to allow us to move one of the cards from hand into banish as well. So we may be able to attack quite a few times this turn.
Life total's still looking pretty close. This game is has been a very, very interesting, like, you know, back and forth kind of tempo here, tempo there. You know, take some damage, block some.
It's absolutely, like, I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is a massive nail biter. Like, yeah.
I'm very interested to see Michael's sequencing here. If he leads with something like that Shout of Ursa from the Banish Zone. Nope, we're going to start with a Chane activation and then a Shadow of Ursa.
Shadow of Ursa, so we might not have cards to banish. So I think the most interesting thing about this is we haven't seen super powerful turns from either player. Like we haven't really seen Tariq attack for more than 20, and we haven't seen Michael have an Art of War turn. So I think that's what's making this kind of inches back and forward and so interesting.
I think that's 100% true, 100% true. And then so we had a Minnowism into Bounding Demagon after that Shadow of Ursa. And he's just gonna take it.
Yeah.
That's gotta be scary. If you're Michael and Tariq's just taking it, that's gotta be scary.
So I think Tariq's at the spot where he kind of has to pivot the game at this point. The game is getting away from her a little bit here, and the Soul Shackles are up to 6 now.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to battle huge hands from Michael. Michael's going to be able to block with a couple cards, and if he has a couple blues, he's still going to be able to play multiple things. So if you don't pivot now, when can you?
Yeah. I mean, that's something we mentioned earlier. If Chane gets to that 5, 6 Soul Shackle point, then it's very, very scary. And, like you said, Michael, sitting at 6, threatening maybe 7 the next turn.
Yep, exactly. He's got a Rift Bind there, so if he draws a few non-attacks, that Rift Bind could come in for some serious damage.
That is true. That is very true.
You need to pressure right now. This is your spot. If you don't pressure now, I think the game's gonna come undone, unfortunately.
So this Arcanic Shockwave's coming in for 4. It is threatening a card draw from the Plunder Run,
Yeah.
and it was fused, so it did a little bit of arcane.
Yeah, so it's done some arcane now as well. So what the biggest thing Michael has to consider is a Lightning Press. So
Yes.
I think Lightning Press is a card that, if a Lightning Press goes off here, draws Tariq a card, Tariq's going to be able to play that Weave Lightning, create a Lightning token, and then if he draws something that Weave Lightning pumps, it'll have go again, and he'll be able to come in for the Rosetta. So if, Michael has to really consider that a Lightning Press could turn Tariq's turn into sort of, close to that 20 damage mark.
So it's basically what you're saying is this little kind of innocuous looking turn actually has explosive potential.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a medium turn, but it threatens a lot. And so Michael has to decide whether he's going to play around that Lightning Press, or whether he doesn't have the room to play around, or it's not correct to play around it, and sort of say, well, if you have it, you have it.
Here we have a Snapdragon Scalar's activation, so go again on that attack. See how he follows this up.
Yeah, so he's drawn a card here. We've got a non-attack action in hand that's going to create a lightning token, and then 2 more cards. So this could be a very serious turn here, now that Plunder Run's picked up a card.
Ooh, yep. We have that Weave Lightning.
Yep.
Into the embodiment of lightning, just as you said.
So the question is, did we draw
what
something
did he draw?
that the Weave Lightning pumps?
I'm also on the edge of my seat
Oh,
now. What did he draw? Oh,
okay, we did. This
Oh.
is huge.
So this
is 7 with go again.
This is scary. This is very, very scary.
So absolute, even if Tariq's got a ham sandwich in his hand right now as the last card, that Rosetta Thorn is still presenting 4 damage. So Michael can't just take this. He's gonna have to block.
So we do have a block here. It's gonna block for. This is a 3-block card?
Yeah, so at the moment he's taking 4. That's going to put him down to 5 life. So I think we've livened up his Skull Cap again.
So just as you said, we have that Rosetta Thorn coming in for 2 and 2. Threatening to put him down to 1.
To 1 life. 1 is a scary
Wow.
life total to go against Chane. So, yep, we're going to utilize the Skull Cap. Now's the time to use it. And I think that puts Michael down to 2? Yep. Yeah, so 2 life. So Rosetta Thorn's ability is now reasonably lethal if Tariq gets himself down to 1 so that Skull Cap can't stop it. So this is the turn of the game, folks.
Oh, no.
This is what we've been waiting for.
So we have 1 hit. Oh no. Oh no, you hate to see it.
That was rough. That was a very rough Banish 6. So that's going to be, yeah.
Oh no. That is not what you want to see off of a Banish 6.
I mean, Michael still has 2 attacks here with the Rift Bind and the Ghostly. He's got a Rosetta Thorn. He's got a card in Arsenal. He's still going to be able to present a pretty big turn here. So.
One thing to note, all those cards in his Banish zone have Blood Debt, including that Husk, which is unavoidable.
Yeah, he's going to have to play him.
Michael's at a virtual 1 here. Because if he passes the turn, he's gonna take the Husk.
Yeah, well, Tariq could also be thinking, it's actually might be all right to just block all of your cards this turn, because if you can survive 2 turns, the Blood Debt will kill him.
Just get him with Blood Debt.
I think against 7 Soul Shackle tokens, that's way too much of a risk. I think taking that risk is a little bit too much. Ideally, what you're wanting to do is, maybe block a couple of things with those embodiments. So if that Rift Bind gets quite big, at least you're blocking it for 5, and then try to, deal a damage with the last 1 or 2 cards.
This is a pretty big pump here. So we have a Plunder Run from hand, so it's not going to give a +3, But we have a come to fight,
Yeah,
which is gonna give a +3.
that's big. This rift bind's getting big. So that the main thing that Tariq's got to, the thing that both players are going to have on their mind here is if you leave Tariq with a single card, if that's a blue, he can create a rune chant token and then attack with the weapon
Yeah,
for
yep.
lethal. So if you leave him on one so that you can't use your skull cap and he has a single blue in hand, you're dead.
That yes, yes.
So
You
that's the
definitely
dance.
don't want to die to a casual rune chant.
No, no,
And I
exactly.
think it's coming in for 8 if I did the math right. Yeah, it's coming in for 8.
Yeah, you did.
It's
So,
yeah, just 8 with go again.
and threatening to draw a card if it hits. So this is a very big attack. This is the play of the game. This is the turn.
I agree. I agree.
It
This is.
depends how this goes as to whether you're gonna win or lose this game, I think.
So this Sonata is going to block for 5 because of the non-attack getting pumped up by 3 from the embodiment of Earth. Looks like Tariq was considering throwing in the kitchen sink, blocking with the grasp and the tunic, but he might be reconsidering here.
Yeah, he's gonna take a little bit of time and make sure that that we're blocking for the correct amount here. And as we see, great sportsmanship from both players,
Oh,
from
you gotta
Michael
love
as
it.
well.
You
Yeah,
love
in Flesh and Blood, it's like no other game. Honestly, it really is. You know, the top players in the world, we see time and time again, fantastic sportsmanship and
Yeah,
saying,
for
you know,
sure.
I don't want to steal a game off you. You know, like take your time, have a think, make your correct
Yeah,
play, and the game's going to come down to what it's supposed to come down to.
exactly. Yeah. Great camaraderie, and you want to, really earn that victory.
Yeah, 100%. So I think Tariq's considering blocking with 2 non-attacks for 10 here with these embodiments. So,
So yeah, he definitely has one. He's like, all right, I know I want to block with this one. The Sonata is gonna get thrown out there no matter what. How much more do I
so
want to
it's
block?
whether we want to save the other
Ah,
non-attack for that ghostly that's going to be coming in as well, because we want to try to stop the plunder run trigger. Um, so what's this? This is
this is
7
this
and
is
8 with
7
the graph.
and
So
the
this
grasp.
is the full block.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like you said, yeah, that ghostly visit's still just sitting in there, threatening another 4 and card draw off of the plunder run.
Exactly. So, oh,
Oh,
that is huge. That is the play of the game right there.
wow!
So,
Finally, after getting them banished all day, we have a Art of War.
yeah, so Art of War is absolutely fantastic here. It's exactly what he wants. I don't think he had any cards left to banish and draw to, but just the +1 means the Plunder Run's going to trigger, give him a card. That Ghostly's going to have Go Again from the Art of War as well, and the Rosetta Thorn's going to come in. So
And
that is just massive.
Ghostly still also gets pumped up from the Art of War as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
too.
five attack. It's threatening, you know, Tariq's entire life total here.
And we do have, like you mentioned, a non-attack blocking from hand for 5.
Yep.
Saved it for that ghostly visit.
Then the Rosetta for 2 and 2. So are we going to see Tariq Patel go down to 1 life here?
It looks like it. Michael indicating his 1 blood debt from the
Yep.
Carrion Husk.
So Tariq definitely wants to go down to 1. Turn off that skull cap and make it so that if you can create a grass token, you're going to be able to ping and kill him here. This could be the game. Is that a yellow? Is that a 0 cost from Arsenal? It is,
It
and there
is!
is the
Oh,
rune
wow.
chant token. Both players on 1 life. Skull cap is not live. We see the
That
fist pump,
is
and there's your
game.
national champion,
Wow.
Tariq Patel.
First U.S. national champion. What an amazing run. What an amazing game. That was a nail biter. An absolute nail biter.
That was a gameplay to absolute perfection from both players. We are seeing the top of the game. We are seeing something incredible, and oh wow, how deserved was that?
We are about to swap out. We'll be back with Tariq Patel.
I don't know about you, Tariq, but I need a moment to breathe. Congratulations on being the first national champion.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How does it feel?
I can't even put it in words. I'm super ecstatic. You know, it was just the culmination of about like a month's grind of hard work, and I've never had anything pay off like this before, so it really, really feels good to have it pay off. Yeah.
I know you can't see it. I've got a big grin from ear
So
to ear
do I.
underneath of my mask right now. But let's talk about that month
Yeah,
that you did
yeah.
here. Your first event in Dallas,
Yep.
heartbreaking 9th place.
Yeah. Yep.
And go ahead.
I almost didn't even go to Cincinnati
Right.
because I figured, so down and out about it. I bubbled many events in the past, and I'm like, oh, this is another one. Should I even go? But luckily, you yourself and a couple of other people really convinced me to go to Dallas, and yeah, the rest was history from there.
Yeah, so Cincinnati, like you talked about, another heartbreaker, but a little bit better this time.
Yeah.
Second place to the person that you just beat in the finals.
Yeah. So we were talking about this before. I think we have the beginnings of a friendly rivalry going on. I was joking with him all day as I was winning that he better keep winning so I can get my revenge in the finals. We ended up on the opposite side of the bracket, so I told him yesterday I'd see him in the finals, and then all throughout today, and we met in the finals, and I'm glad I came out victorious at this one. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, those 2 tournaments into this, just your 3rd Flesh and Blood tournament, the national championship here, and you can now call yourself that national champion.
Yeah.
And I've got to say that I know that I have a little bit of a rooting stake in this. Everybody at home probably knows that we've been friends for a long time, and I was rooting for you a little bit here. But this feels like kind of like what you said, a culmination of a lot of hard work. You were the person who was the progenitor of this Briar deck. You were the first one to really put in a lot of time and effort on it. And I've got to say, from me, it's great to see that get rewarded. Where did you come up with this deck? Where did it spawn from?
Right. So that's a great question. So my first event ever was really the Tales of Aria pre-release. And I actually showed up to the event, and I didn't even know what the heroes did. Because traditionally, you go to Magic, and you give it a pile of cards, and you kind of learn as you go. And they're like, okay, now pick a hero. And I was like, what the heck? So reading the cards and learning it at pre-release, the next week I went into a draft being like, I'm just going to take everything cost 0. That was good in Magic. It must be good here. Turns out it was really good, and the idea spawned from that. Can I make a constructed deck out of that? So a week or so after I started playing, I built the first version. Admittedly, it was very bad, but we kept working on it. I couldn't have done it with all my friends. I want to get some shout outs if that's cool
Go
with
ahead.
you. David Root from Toronto, he's amazing. When I first started, I messaged him, and he took me into his group, and we learned how to play. Joel Repta, who came with me, I think he's currently playing in the finals of the Calling right now with almost the same 80 cards. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go see if he's won his match. And then the rest of Canadians are probably forgetting. And then Matt Rogers over the last 3 weeks. Rob Seigel, who's a Florida local, really helped me out getting cards, teaching me the basics of the game and then kind of growing from there. The rest of the Florida people at the collective, there's too many to name, but y'all know who you are. Nothing but love for everybody, and thanks for, carrying me to where I am today.
Speaking of where you are today, you're 1-1 now with Michael. You talked about that friendly rivalry. Can we get a rematch at Worlds maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's on the docket, and Michael and I both want to knock the New Zealanders down a peg too. So we'll come for them next, but one step at a time, right?
Now, Tariq, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you want to go celebrate. You want to go watch your friend to see if he wins the Calling. But I got something for you here, and I'm usually not allowed to touch these, so I need you to take it away from me as quickly as possible. But here you go, buddy.
Oh my God, this feels amazing.
It feels amazing,
It's
and
a
it
dream
looks
come true.
amazing.
Yeah.
Again, Tariq, congratulations.
Thank you, Tanner.
Very deserving champion. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some more Flesh and Blood. We're going to actually do the finals of that Calling.